Let's start, though, with hugely significant news coming out of Newcastle tonight. We can confirm that Bruno Guimarães has told the club he wants to leave to join Arsenal. Right, let's go to the northeast. Our reporter Keith Downey is there. Keith, all right then, what more can you add to this story?
Yeah, Mike. Well, as you rightly say there, one reveal tonight that Bruno has indicated to Newcastle United, whether directly or indirectly, that he is seeking to or looking to explore a move away from the club, with, of course, Arsenal interested in his signature. What we can tell you at this moment in time, that Newcastle are not commenting on the situation. And as far as they are aware, there has been no contact and there has been no offer from Arsenal to the club. So no contact from them whatsoever. But Bruno Guimarães, whether that is himself or through one of the agents he's got working on his future, has indicated a desire to leave Newcastle United. As you can see by the pictures, this is a player who is, led the club to the Carabao Cup success, twice to the Champions League, and is a real dark Newcastle United fan base. So this is a huge blow to the Newcastle fans. He's got 2 years left in his contract, Mike, with the option of a third one. But as far as I understand, Newcastle have got absolutely no interest in selling him this window. Their stance has always been the same, that he is not for sale. And the numbers that have been mooted in reports, circa £60 million, are far from Newcastle's valuation of the player anyway. So look, bad news for the Newcastle United fans who will be aware of that this evening. But Bruno Guimarães, their club captain, has indicated to Newcastle a desire to seek a move away from the club to Arsenal. But as it stands, Newcastle, interestingly, and what makes the story so crazy, Newcastle have not had any contact from Arsenal yet and are making no comment whatsoever on the situation.
Keith, I've got to say the line isn't great. It's more North Pole than North East, but we'll try to carry on for the moment. Why does Bruno want to leave?
Look, Mike, I think you look at some of the other Newcastle players who've left in recent times. Just last week, Sandro Tonali's joined Tottenham Hotspur for £100 million. Will be doubling his salary at the same time. Anthony Gordon has done similar with his move to Barcelona recently. And we saw, of course, what happened with Alexander Isak in that protracted move to Liverpool last year. So I think Bruno Guimarães, without putting words in his mouth, is probably sitting thinking, well, sort of, when's it my turn to go and double my wages and give myself an opportunity to win league titles year after year? Of course, I'm saying that in the case of Gordon and Isak, probably not so much Tonali joining Tottenham. But he's 28, he'll be 29 in November. He's, in his peak years right now. And I think all these players, when they join Newcastle hoping that they would win trophies, they would win the Premier League. And of course, they've not done that year on year. It's probably not been quite the rise that they thought it would have. It's gone a little bit slower than they thought they would. So I think they still do see most of them as a stepping stone for a player joining Newcastle United. And I think for Bruno, it's a chance for a last payday. It's a chance to join a club who wins trophies regularly. But the problem is here, Arsenal, if they do really want to sign him, they need to come to the table and make an offer to Newcastle, and they haven't done that yet. And that's what makes this whole transfer so unbelievable, really. And it feels like it's all being led by, or driven, should I say, by agents and intermediaries, because Newcastle have not had direct contact from Arsenal, but yet there has been talks between intermediaries trying to sanction a deal.
So, Keith, as you said, Gordon's gone. Tonali's gone, but for Newcastle fans, if Guimarães goes, is that going to hurt the most? Is that going to cut the deepest?
Yeah, without doubt. As I mentioned earlier, Mike, he's the darling of the Newcastle fans. He's the club captain. He really gets the people here. He gets the football club, and he's really taken to life here. He's been here for what, 4.5 years now, and I have to say, when I've been out and about in the city in recent weeks, when the stories started to emerge regarding both Bruno Guimarães and Sandro Tonali, every supporter would say to me, "What's happening with Tonali? What's happening with Bruno Guimarães?" And there was almost an acceptance that, okay, if Tonali goes, we could deal with that. We don't want it, but we could accept it. But I think Bruno Guimarães has been there longer. The club has got under his skin. The city's got under his skin. The supporters absolutely adore him. And all those supporters have said to me, I could handle Tonali going just about as long as Bruno stays. So this news tonight will be an absolute hammer blow to them. Their idol, their darling, the one that they love, their leader has expressed a desire to move from the football club. And look, it'll be giving them sort of nightmares thinking back to what happened last summer with Alexander Isak. And this is a worst case scenario for those Newcastle United supporters, because Bruno was the one of all of them, of all these big signings that Newcastle have made since the takeover, all these big signings that have improved rapidly as players under Eddie Howe. He's the one the Newcastle United fans would want to keep. So this is a really difficult night and difficult news for them to watch and read and hear.
Yeah, I bet it is. All right, let's try and alleviate a little bit of that pain. There's news of a new signing coming. What can you tell us?
Yeah, so Sean Stewart, Ajax midfielder, or was an Ajax midfielder. Newcastle clinched the deal with him yesterday with the Dutch club. We can see him pictured there at the training ground this morning. That was him halfway through his Newcastle United medical. The Newcastle sporting director, Ross Wilson, went over to the Netherlands over the last couple of days to try and clinch a deal with Ajax, and he did so. £20 million up front with £3 million in add-ons. He's 18 years old. But I think that just shows exactly where Newcastle are right now with their project. They're trying to bring in young players with a high ceiling, players that they can improve on the training ground. And while I think Stewart might not go right into the starting 11 straight away, he will be expected to compete with the likes of Bruno Guimarães if he's still there, and Joe Linton. And Jacob Ramsey, these sorts of players moving forward. So Newcastle going down a different model, Mike, trying to bring in players aged between 18 and 24, priced between 20 million and 40 million. That is their new model, if you like. So as I say, they're in the midst of signing Stewart, trying to get that one over the line, I think, by tomorrow. They also signed Basu Toure on Friday. From Hoffenheim for £40 million. He's a winger, 21-year-old. They're not household names, but that's kind of what Newcastle United are trying to do. I was told by one club source earlier today they're trying to make themselves, or trying to follow the suit of Borussia Dortmund at the moment. That's kind of what they're trying to do, trying to bring in young players, improve them, but still challenge for titles at the top of the table. So as I say, Toure in the door, Stewart very close to being in the door, but I have to say that the news tonight that Bruno Guimarães has sort of given his intention that he's looking to move away from the club almost puts all that good news that we've heard over the last few days or so back onto the back burner again, because this Bruno Guimarães news will be the thing that's concerning these Newcastle United supporters more than anything else.